Ibrahim, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great, Uncle. How have you been?
I'm doing well too, and it's good to know the progress you're making in life. You're going abroad to study, and it's a great college. So, tell me about all that.
Thank you so much. I think I'm glad that I've got an opportunity to interact with you. I've really looked up to you for quite some time, and I'm really happy that I'm getting this opportunity. I'm going to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities to study my Bachelor's of Science in Economics with my minor in Computer Science. I mean, it's been a long journey. It's been a tough journey, preparing to get into the university. Uh, you start your preparation early. You have to apply to these universities. I think it's been a very interesting journey, but it's been a taxing journey. But what I've learned from people, and what I've learned from a lot of people who've gone to such universities, it's that it's difficult to get into these universities. I mean, but it's not the most difficult part. Our journey does not end there. What I've understood from a lot of alumni is that the real difficulty starts when you have to sustain in the university. So I think that's one of my major goals, to sustain properly, sustain efficiently, sustain calmly in the university.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan, and you are anyway a very creative person. And so you've been doing a lot of creative things in your life already. So why don't you mention a few of them?
Sure, sir. I started a foundation called Shaping Borders. It's an endeavor that's very close to my heart. When I was lucky that my parents got an opportunity to. I'm actually from a very small village in Kashmir called Hindwara. It's very close to the line of actual control. And I was very fortunate that my parents got the opportunity to move out, and I got the opportunity to study in one of the better schools of the country. But when I go back to my village, when I interact with the children there, there was this question that always struck in my mind, and that was that I got this opportunity to move out to get the best of education, to get the best of sports facilities, but the people here, the people of my village, why is there such disparity? Obviously, one of the reasons for this disparity was because of Kashmir being a conflict region. And I just wanted to do my part to help these students in whichever way I can. So in that progress, in that process, I came up with an endeavor called Shaping Borders. Shaping Borders actually plans on establishing 10 rotational book banks in the border areas of Rajwar, Ramhal, and Mawar. Those are the border areas along the line of actual control, and informate and integrate the students and align them with the rest of the world, but through books. Because, sir, I believe books are a passport for anywhere. I mean, if you read a book about the moon, you are actually going to the moon. If you're reading a book about Europe, you're actually visiting Europe while you're reading the book. So I think while I was researching and while I was interacting with a lot of locals, a lot of children, a lot of teachers, what came out was that the children there, they are very intelligent. They're very fertile, but there are two major problems that they are facing. First, language barrier, and secondly, lack of information. And when I try to collate the problems and understand one way in which I can deal with those situations, uh, setting up book banks and instilling a habit of reading seemed as an ideal opportunity. And till now, I've established more than 5 book banks with around 7,000 books that keeps on rotating after every 3 months from one nodal school to another nodal school. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I plan on establishing 5 more book banks. And along with that, Shaping Borders, I plan on setting up computer labs in those schools as well, and via internet connect them through the rest of the world. So I think this is something that is going on in progress, and yeah, I'm working on it, and I'm really enjoying this journey.
Yeah, it sounds very good, Ibrahim. You're very creative, and in fact, this is a very far-reaching kind of initiative, very rare. And given your background and the fact that you live in Chandigarh, your parents are helping you a lot, and they are also like-minded. And your dad has been in Kashmir traveling and going often and helping out people. And you have taken this initiative. It's really nice. What you said about books, I really like, because I think young people, the more they read books, the more they develop, the more their personalities develop. And I think they have more to talk about, more confidence, more depth. I have a TEDx talk on reading and writing. I always talk about the fact that any student or any youngster who reads will be a more complete conversationalist, more cheerful, more knowledgeable, more confident. Because you have read a lot, that means you know more and you talk sense. And you don't only talk about, sometimes it can be artificial conversation in cities like Chandigarh and Delhi. If we can just joke for a while, bikes and kebabs and, snazzy clothes and stuff, perfumes. So, so instead of that, you're talking about meaningful stuff, and then it becomes more fulfilling, and then it becomes more like the kind of conversation which you want to be part of. So I think that's something very good. And also tell the viewers about your YouTube channel and what you've been doing on that more often. What has been the kinds of activities you've done on that?
Right, sir. I started a YouTube channel during the COVID times because I was in my home. I had nothing to do. I was trying to figure out how can I be more productive, and that's when an idea struck with me. I was reading a book. I was reading 21 Lessons of the 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari, and I was trying to understand and analyze the book. And it's a very interesting book, but it's a very complex book. And I took a lot of time understanding everything in this book, but it has information that's very meaningful for the upcoming generations. So that's when an idea struck to me that why not create small bites in which I compress the major details of every chapter and present it in a YouTube video. So I created around 15 lessons of the 21 lessons, merging some of them to create a total of 15 videos. And I think last month I completed the book, and now I've shifted to an area that I really like. I'm passionate about economics, and I really wanted to make a video about economics and a series regarding economics. I recently posted a video in which I compared and analyzed the economic journey of three neighboring nations, India, Pakistan, and China, and analyzed how one ended up becoming a superpower, other a developing nation, and finally a country that has been mounted with debt. Because so all of these three countries, they started off from a similar platform. So what was different in their ideology that one has, has become one of the fastest growing economies, one of the strongest countries in the world, and other which was actually the most promising country out of these three, especially in the 1950s, how that country has become a country that has been mounted with debt and economic and has turned out to become an economic failure.
Right, very interesting. And the fact that you have your YouTube channel and you've been discussing these important issues is also a very rare thing, because everybody's not doing it. And it's very rare for any youngster to get into this kind of thing. Ibrahim, I also feel that, the youth is into a lot of overthinking nowadays, and they often get a lot of they get bogged down basically because of overthinking, because of negativity, fear, a lot of worries, and they are very much, they are very much in a frame of mind which is under stress. So I, as a motivational speaker, I talk to them, I tell them that, it's not right to be overthinking. So basically you should try and do a lot of physical activity outdoors, read more books, meditate, and also be creative so that you don't get into negative overthinking, especially, and pressurize yourself. So that is something which I really talk about. What has been your experience? Have you also felt the same at times, or have your friends gone through this phase? As a youngster, what do you feel about this?
Sir, I absolutely agree. In today's time, everybody's overthinking. I think no one I mean, there's no one who has not gone through this journey. I think I myself am a person who used to overthink a lot. And I think a lot of it has to be because of the way when social media came into action, it's a boon because it has, it has expanded your network. It has expanded your base. You can connect to anyone in the world. But it, along with it being a boom, it has also led to, you know, some negative effects. And I think uh, introduction to social media and people who are very hooked to the devices, uh, they tend to overthink a little bit more. I think, like you rightly said, it's very important for us to go out, enjoy, play, or do creative activities, involve and engage yourself in something. That's something that really helps you in preventing the overthinking, because I think it's very common nowadays, sir. And I think I came to you to ask your guidance as well, to which you very profoundly advise that it's very important to be calmly active and actively calm in today's time. And it's very important for us to have a clear mind, because creative ideas and innovative ideas only come to the calm minds. So yeah, I think overthinking is a problem that everybody is facing with right now. But there are ways to tackle it, and yeah, I have been through that process, and I think reading is something that can really help you. Going out playing is something that can really help you. Singing is something that can really help you. And I think communication is something that really helps in preventing overthinking. If you communicate with people, if you're able to communicate your thoughts with people, that really helps you in preventing the overthinking, the problem of overthinking.
Right. So it's a very interesting topic actually, and I talk a lot on this. And I think what we just said about reading makes you more proactive and progressive. I think the creative part also needs to be emphasized. Anybody who has music or sports or creative thinking like art or writing poetry, whatever in their lives, will be less stressed out and less prone to negativity.
Absolutely.
And I totally
I think different people have different interests. It's very important for a person to keep working on the skills that make you calm, that make you happy. For me, it has always been sports and music and reading to some extent. So I keep working on those things. And in one of the interviews, I was having an interview, and the interviewer asked me that, Ibrahim, if you've worked for 20 hours, you are mentally exhausted, you're very stressed, you're thinking so much, you're overthinking. What is it that will make you calm? To that, I replied that, I am a football fanatic. If I go to the football pitch for even 5 minutes, that will make me calm, and that will refresh my entire memory and my brain. So it's very important for a person to kind of keep on doing what they love to do.
absolutely. In fact, sports is so good that I've been writing a lot, and I myself, as you know, was a cricketer, and you've been into tennis. These are sports which will not only make you physically healthy but mentally healthy. Plus, sports teaches you how to lose and win at the same time.
Absolutely.
Sometimes life gives you troubles and sometimes it gives you positives. So I think if you are in a sports domain, you will not feel so bad when life doesn't go according to plan. So then sports teaches you that, and sometimes you come first, sometimes you come last.
Absolutely.
What is your message for youngsters like you or younger boys and girls than you who are still looking forward to life ahead and haven't reached your stage? How have you been successful till now, and what do you propose or suggest to them?
Right, sir. I think it's very important for you to initially realize what you like to do, because if you keep working on something that you don't like, you might end up reaching somewhere, but it would not give you that sense of satisfaction, that sense of happiness that you really desire. I think it's very important to follow your interests and follow your heart. Keep working hard, obviously, but along with that, along with academics, it's very important for you to have a broader perspective. if you like debating, go into debates. If you like playing sports, just get involved into sports. Get involved into as many activities as you can, because while education is, and while academics is very important for creating that ideology, getting involved in extracurricular activities is very important for an holistic development for any student. So even I had a question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
In fact, I had 2-3 questions. First of all, I have learned this statement, and I've learned this ideology from you, that it's very important for a person to be calmly active and actively calm. But I often think that you've been in such decorated positions, and I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of complex and difficult problems. Now, how are you able to maintain such serene calmness through all of this?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I've been meditating for the last 15 years or so. And this quote of calmly active and actively calm comes from Paramahansa Yogananda, who's the guru of yoga and meditation in the modern era. He taught the Americans, and through that it went to the world. So basically he said you have to win the inner battle. So after starting to meditate, I found it easier to be calm, because you realize that many of the things that annoy you or stress you out are not worth it. And you make a determined effort to be calm. That's what being actively calm means. You're working on your calmness. That is really very important.
Right, sir. And you've always been an avid sports person, and I mean, particularly you've been fond in cricket. When I came to interact with you, I could see the love and the passion that you have for the sport. I had a question, sir, that how has sports influenced you in your journey?
I think, like I said, you learn how to be balanced. You learn how to lose and win. You learn especially to take the losses in your stride at times, difficult times. I think sports also gives out the right hormones. They come out and you feel cheerful and bubbly. If you are watching sport or playing sport, the rest of the day goes well. And because you are in sports, you feel more energetic. I think it also is one activity where there's no agenda. I mean, the only agenda is to win. And there is no, jealousy coming out. There might be on the field, but very rarely. In other fields, like in office work or in school work or in any other organization, there may be some jealousies coming in. But in sport, ultimately teamwork has to prevail. Otherwise, you'll be exposed. So I think sports adds to a lot of good vibes, and that's what I've learned from sports.
Absolutely, sir. That's amazing. And so to wind it all off, I think I have one last question. A lot of students, including me, we're embarking on a new journey. We're going from high school to college. What are the 2-3 tips or suggestions that you would like to give to us as we are embarking on a new journey? And what should we keep in mind while we are, set to, embark on a new journey?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I think the first thing is to keep the bigger picture in mind. So while we are embarking on a new journey, it's not the only part of life. There will be other phases of life ahead. So we always have to keep the bigger picture in mind, that we don't do anything in one moment which we may regret later. We slapped someone, or we fought with someone, or we did something rash. Then the bigger picture gets spoiled. Secondly, keep the goal in mind of family, of happiness, of cheerfulness, positivity. Then we do other things according to that. So we don't get into little worries and unfortunate trends of thought because of some little thing, and then we get moody. So we avoid moodiness and stay largely cheerful and positive. Thirdly, as I said earlier, I think creativity is very important. So whatever we do, we have to be multi-dimensional. We can't be unidimensional. So we bring out our best talents to whatever extent we can. Maybe you can't do everything, but you can do a few different things in life, and they help you in your work. When you play a guitar on a Sunday, then Monday you go back to work feeling more cheerful and peppy and earnest and eager to work. So I think that's what life should be about.
Absolutely, sir. I think that's very profound, and that will really help us, not just us, every student and everyone who might be listening to this video cast.
Yeah.
I think it's very profound. So thank you so much.
Yes, Ibrahim, let's share this conversation with a lot of people and let's hope that it impacts them. I wish you well on your journey as you embark on a new career phase. And I'm sure that you'll come back smiling and cheerful at the end of your course or whatever you do ahead in life. My best wishes and stay in touch.
Thank you so much. Surely. Thank you for your time.